little sister won't have you done. Ding, ding, ding. Hey, little sister, I'm the only one. Hey, little sister, shotgun. It's a nice day for a white wedding.
You know, without the music track behind you, that's creepy as hell.
It's a nice day to start again.
I was
Andy
more
is
thinking
rubbing
about
his body all over
Yes.
just for the visuals.
I was thinking more about how you were just like, "Hey, little sister."
Guys, welcome to Real Awkward, the best damn podcast you've heard
Today,
My name's Andy,
I'm Amanda.
I'm Ashley.
and we're here to strike fear in the weird and obscure. I tried to rhyme and it didn't work.
Sure.
Shirtily birdily do. Yeah? Was that better?
No.
Ash has not said a word. She's just staring at me. What did I marry? What did I marry?
I was almost thinking. I don't know if you almost think.
I don't know how you almost think. I'm almost there. It's gone.
Do you ever think about your significant other? I know,
Nope.
Amanda, you haven't been with Chris nearly as long, but like, if we met today without knowing all the things you know, would you still?
I mean, if I didn't know, I'd still think that you're...
If I didn't know,
Like-
here's the real secondary question to that question. How upset do you want to be tonight?
I'd like if I don't know what I know now, I'd probably fall right back in the trap again. Yes.
See, that's the thing. If I don't know, I don't know.
I don't know what I don't know.
But then if you want to be upset, you're like, well, what do you fucking know?
What is that fucking supposed to mean?
Well, okay, what I truly mean is like, we met when I was 21. You were 23?
You were 21. I was 23. Fell in love in 1983. No, that doesn't make any
We
sense.
weren't even born. My point is, what you're looking for at 21, is it the same thing you're looking for at 36?
I was looking for a hot and juicy redhead.
Gross.
I don't know because we met online when it was fucking taboo to meet online.
I mean, is that relevant to my question, though?
No.
No, I don't know if I was necessarily looking for anything specific.
You don't think that you had like qualities that like you prefer in a mate?
Dude, I came out of a relationship that messed me up. So for me, I was just like, I hope anybody's going to love me again.
That was all it took? Shoot.
Yeah, Andy's dating parameters were just single and his zip code.
I wasn't even in his zip code.
No, I had to drive super far.
It was like a half an hour.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I can't tell you.
It's hard to say because you don't know who, like, if we hadn't met 15 years ago, like, we might be totally different people today than we are.
Oh, sure. I would have had different experiences. I
Right.
mean, and obviously, if I'm looking now, that means my other past relationships didn't go well. So I'd probably be more screwed up. I can only imagine. Probably have some kids, or I would have found out I was infertile then and then just like kept losing partners that didn't want me because of that. So,
Or you could find somebody who wants to be a forever dink.
oh, that's true. I may not have kids at all. I may
Yeah.
just be playing around right now, having all the money in the world.
Let me tell you, we all fucked up. We all fucked up because I have friends who have no children. They have dual income, no children. Let me tell you what they're doing. They're cruising the world, okay? They are living their lives. They're enjoying it. And they're loaded, okay?
Yeah. Dude, they get to leave their house anytime they want. They get to, like, they don't have to worry about freaking babysitters. They don't have to worry about additional mouths to feed. They don't have to worry about clothing these people. And now my kid's in school where I have to talk to their stupid ass teachers where they're just like, your kid's not doing very well with letters. And you're like, fuck off.
Honestly,
Yeah. What do letters teach you anyway?
Yeah, I don't need to read.
It's funny how much we rethink now that like Cam's in school, how much we rethink all the things that we thought were important in an education. And we're just like, do you really need that? Like,
Right? In school, did I need 4 years of algebra? No.
Well, here's what's weird, okay? This was me. When I was going to school, kindergarten, you freaking learned animal names and learned how to finger paint, and maybe you had some letters. No, my daughter needs to know addition and subtraction, and now she has to freaking know like what sight words are, and she has to understand like full like sentence structure, and like I'm like, dude, she's a kindergartner. Like, when did this change? When
Well,
did this get so
yeah, they were like, they're
crazy?
expected to know subtraction 0 to 10 without using
A calculator
fingers,
or paper?
number line, or
What?
any kind of like
Yeah.
tools. By
Yeah.
the end of the year.
Kindergarten?
Yes.
And I'm like, dude, when I was a kindergarten, I was still eating my own poop.
But what's funny
no, I
is,
mean,
Well,
I
I
don't know
mean,
about other
we're all
I don't know about other
dumbasses.
states, but in South Carolina, kindergarten is not even required.
yeah. Isn't that weird?
Weird.
So they go like super hardcore on kindergarten. And so, I mean, I understand that kids are probably way more advanced these days than we were, only because they immediately have a phone or an iPad or access to the internet or something, right? So information's rolling at them. So maybe they want them to decipher that faster. But like,
Also,
shit, dude.
I have to say, the level of expectation that the parents are gonna like teach things at home, like,
please,
Yeah.
that's your job. I pay my taxes for you to teach my kid that stuff. Not me.
Let me teach my kid about like, I don't know, like sex education, but like,
Yeah, I'll teach my
I'm not
kid
teaching
about
them
the birds and the
subtraction.
bees.
You teach them about subtraction.
Yeah, and you're supposed to do that in second grade. So get this shit out of my face.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I try to think about like the stuff that we learned as kids, like in school, and I'm like, first of all, I don't remember any of it, but like, and like to hear that she needs to know how to do subtraction, I'm like, I can't even do that without like using my finger.
I
can't
remember
do that.
kindergarten was like I said, finger painting, recess, maybe you learn a letter or two, and the teacher just reads you books and shit in a circle. Like that's
Well,
what you did in kindergarten.
No, she legit
think-
has homework that she has to turn in at the end of
That's
the week.
see, that's wild to me that she has homework, because I feel like kindergarten is more of like teaching them how to be students. Like
Well, yeah, and I
teaching
thought you were
them-
also supposed to like learn some social skills and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
the
you know
fact
what I mean?
that she has homework is wild.
You like
Yeah.
you played with Lincoln Logs and fucking blocks and stuff,
And it's not like the homework is like one thing. It's literally like, do this math worksheet, do this writing thing, and then like give us some complete sentences on the back of the page, and then read 3 books off of your Chromebook, and then do these flashcards. Like,
and the
Whoa.
children are tested. She's literally having to do tests where she has to complete these math problems within
3
like
minutes.
3 minutes. So my daughter already has anxiety now because she's
Yeah.
like, I can't. I knew the timer was going, so I just freaked out. And then you see her numbers, and she's just like frantically scribbling the wrong answers and back. And then you know, you look at the paperwork, you can see she was having a fucking meltdown, like trying to finish this thing in 3 minutes. And I'm like, why are we putting pressure on kindergartners? I don't
That's
get
wild.
that. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Now, I understand that, like, I guess the sooner you catch on, the more you can develop, more you can learn. Like, the better maybe you'll do in high school because you grasp things early. But, dude, I don't know. I feel like there's no more being a kid in school anymore. Like, it's straight up like, nope, well, welcome to the society where
Welcome to
we're
the big leagues.
We're going to teach you how to do 9 to 5 already.
Well, and I think that that's exactly what it is. You know, like
Yeah.
I mean, not to
Um,
mention that my kid has to wake up at 6:00 in the morning to go catch the bus.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
that's wild.
Is that crazy?
Like we used to wake up at 6 when we were in high school.
Right?
Yeah. And I didn't even go to school till I think like 9
I'm
back
trying
in
to
the day.
remember.
Like mom was like, let's get up at 8:30, get you to school by 9:15 or whatever. And then I'd come home by 2:30 or some crap like that. I was barely in school ever during that time. First grade, I learned addition. Second grade, I learned subtraction. Third grade, I learned multiplication. And fourth grade, I learned division. Did I say division twice?
no.
Okay. But like Cam's coming home and she's like, today we were learning the presidents of the United States and their names and where they came from. And I'm like, dude, I feel like that was a second grade thing. I didn't feel like in
U.S. history.
Yeah, I didn't feel like in kindergarten you learned like, and wasn't Cam even talking about slavery or something too with us?
I don't know.
I thought she was even bringing that stuff up too, like in class. And I'm like, I get that those are things that you need to teach, but
Yeah.
the comprehension level for a kindergartner, I feel like I don't know if that computes. Because they come home and start asking us a bunch of questions. Like,
Oh my God, could you imagine, Daddy, what's slavery? You're like,
like Cam was asking something. Wasn't she asking something about the president? She was like, what is the, who's the 40 or like
16th president.
yeah, who's the 16th president of the United States or something like that. And I'm like, what?
and
the
you're
F are
like,
you-
you're like, oh, where's my phone? Like,
I was like, Abraham Lincoln or something was around there. I don't fucking know. Like then Ash and I are like, could we name all the presidents? And Ash is like, I look at her, I'm like, easy. And I go, George Washington,
John Adams.
John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, John Quincy Adams, and then I don't fucking know after that.
I
Like
think he forgot Madison and Monroe.
yeah, I lost everything after that, and we're like, I got my Zachary Taylors mixed up with my Coolidges and my Clevelands and my. Like, I got nothing. And meanwhile, my daughter's going to learn all the presidents before first grade.
yeah, that's wild.
It's just insane. I mean, I have to say that it's probably a triumph and it's probably a good thing for her knowledge-wise, but I just feel like there's no more just being a kid.
No, the pressure's on.
Yeah. Like, the fact that they're testing them already is like, what?
That's wild to me that she has a test that she has to complete in 3 minutes. I can understand that it's like, hey guys, we're doing a test, but like we're gonna go over all the questions as a class, like where you're expected to kind of figure it out, but then you work through all the problems together. I could get that, but like we did not work. My parents didn't do that kind of shit with us when we were kids. If we had homework and we needed help, they would kind of help us, but like. We didn't just sit down and it was like, all right, get out your pens. We're doing mathematics today. Like,
Yeah.
I don't remember, honestly, I don't remember ever getting help from my parents with schoolwork.
Probably because you didn't have any homework until you were in third grade or something.
Or maybe I was just smart and like didn't
Maybe
need my
you
parents
just
help. I don't know.
maybe they didn't assign homework back then.
But I feel like my parents were very much like, that's your work.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
For me, my parents, the only thing that really crossed over when like that was they made sure I was doing my homework.
Right.
And then when I got into like middle school, I had started having a really hard time with math. So I needed the help.
Yeah.
But my parents also didn't really understand it. So they really weren't that helpful. But yeah.
I'm still just blown away that like a kindergartner is taught all of these things that I thought were spread out a lot more. And I guess I'm wrong. I mean, maybe.
I don't know. You probably don't remember being 5, to be honest.
Well, shit, dude,
so.
I'm removed 30 years from being 5.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
like-
I mean, where does South Carolina rank in like
middle ground.
school? Yeah.
We're like middle ground, like 23rd or 25th or so. It's not great, but it's not terrible. And so
maybe
I don't
they
know.
used to be a lot lower and they've had to work
maybe.
really hard to
Yeah.
be
Maybe.
higher.
So I feel like there's like a big disconnect in schools, not even school, like schools versus parents, where like, what should the schools be teaching and what should the parents be teaching? Right?
Yeah.
Because like some things it's like, yeah, you should learn that in school. And some things it's like, it's not our responsibility. It's not the school's responsibility to teach their kids those things. So I feel like it begs the question, what did your parents teach you?
I mean, but when I was younger, they taught me the sky's blue and the grass is green and shit. And like, why? Do you remember the why questions as a kid? Why?
Yeah.
Why? But why? But why? And so that's what my parents were there for. Like, I feel like as a kid, as a adolescent, is that, I
Sure.
don't know. That's what your parents are there for. Your parents aren't there to teach you the English and math and stuff like that. Like, they're just like real world scenarios are explained to you as they happen is kind of where my head's at, right? Like why is cheese? My kids don't know that right now. They have no idea why it's hard milk. Like,
I mean, I learned that in school, right?
Yeah.
Because I went to like a dairy farm on a field trip.
Sure.
Or like I went to like an old timey like place where you like churn your own butter and like saw your own wood and like
Right.
get your own water from the river.
your Mennonite
they're,
farm.
They're literally like
Yeah.
things I learned in school. My parents didn't teach me how to make cheese.
No.
Most parents don't teach people how to make cheese. That's fair.
I don't know. My parents, like, both of my parents worked full time when I was a kid.
Same.
And,
Yeah.
you know, like now, you know, people are able to have jobs where they work from home, but like back in the 90s, that wasn't a thing. And so my parents, pretty much one parent would go to work in the morning and then the other one would go to work in the evening, and they would like hi bye, see you later, like swap in the evening. And so we would, when I was young, we would have one parent with us who was just trying to keep the household running. So
Right.
there wasn't a lot of time to sit and talk about why the sky is blue. It's like, Daddy, why is the sky blue? I don't know. Eat your dinner. Like,
I don't know.
I don't
Shut
know.
your fucking mac and cheese. I don't got time for this.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I know that my parents, I don't know, they taught us more of how to just like be a roommate and like how to be held, like, this is going to come out wrong, how to be held accountable as a human being.
Yeah. I
That's
can
like-
see that. Yep.
Yeah.
You know, because basically, like, we were treated, we had chores, we had expectations, and like in a way we were all treated like roommates, because it was basically like, you live here too, do your
Right.
part.
Right.
And you know, I think that for me at least has carried through other things where it's like my job, it's like, we all work here, let's do our part, let's all
right.
work
You know
together.
how to coexist with people.
Yeah. So I don't know, like,
that makes sense that like the core values of just being a human being are taught by your parents, right?
Yeah.
Like you are taught probably how to cook, at least, right? How to use a microwave, how
Right.
to
Do laundry.
do laundry. Yeah. How to clean up, do chores, right? Why it's important to keep the things around you clean and laundered, laundried. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Laundered.
Yeah.
You know, but like my parents were not good at stuff when I was a teenager though. Like I feel like that's where parents struggle and have a hard time. Cause not only when you're a teenager are you a sassy passy, a sassy frassy, a sassy,
You're sassy.
you're sassy.
Let's just go with that.
But like you already like kind of are, I don't even know if it's losing respect, but you just don't have any,
well,
you know?
because, you know, as you become a teenager, you become more independent.
Yeah.
And, you know, also assuming somehow you have a little bit of money, you know, to buy your own stuff here and there. And so you don't need your parents for every single little thing anymore. And then
Sure.
as you get into your late teens, now maybe you're driving or your friends are driving and maybe you're getting a job. And so like you don't have to rely on them so much anymore. So I think there is a big shift in your teens where you start to question your parents and maybe you don't respect them or you do or whatever. But like,
Yeah.
I think that's definitely interesting where the shift happens, where I remember as a kid, like not really understanding things, but then certain things. But then as I got older, being like, you know, this is stupid. Like the way you do this is stupid. Like,
You mean the way your parents did something?
yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a weird thing sometimes too, is that that's the only way they know or how they were taught, and you didn't realize that. So it was taught back to you a certain way or not at all. Like sometimes, like my dad was one of those people where like he taught me how to change oil, but I didn't listen. And we did like dirt bikes and stuff like that all the time, right? So like changing oil, we had to do like gas mixtures. Like I had to learn like about the engine, and I had to learn like that a muffler gets hot, not to put your fucking leg on it. Like those were
Yeah.
all like life lessons and stuff, but I didn't carry them like with me very well.
Honestly, if I could go back, I would learn all of the handyman things that my dad was like begging to teach us, and we just didn't give a crap. Like,
And your dad is an incredible carpenter.
yeah, and
Like,
no
yeah.
offense, I didn't marry a handyman.
And she doesn't want me to be. She wants to be the handy woman in the house.
Well, I feel like
she like elbows me out of the way.
pick up the slack. But I'm
Like-
just like, God, if I had just listened to my dad all those times where he was like, hey, come help me or come learn this or like whatever. And I'm just like, don't care. Like, I wish I could go back and
Yeah,
learn
like
all
I
those
don't
things.
build
Yeah.
in my spare time, but I grew up with literally parents that owned a lumber yard, and my dad was a blueprint contractor that built houses, and both of them like were in the entire like lumber and hardware industry. So every tool, every like measurement, like anything that you would need to build, and any knowledge that you would need, whether it be plumbing, electrical, I didn't learn any of that, even though my parents were like, that was their world, because I was just like Ashley. I was like, I don't really care. Like, I know you want to show me that, Dad, but I don't really care right now, okay?
Yeah, I'm
I just want to
bored.
watch Beast Wars, okay?
I
I'm a 90s kid, and I just want to play on my
wanna play
bike.
video games.
And I want to go buy penny candy, and I want to fucking watch Fox Kids, and I want you to leave me alone. Like, I feel like I missed out on a lot of that stuff, and I don't know where that disconnect happens. Like, why do we not want to learn that stuff? Why do we not want to care about that stuff? Because now, being older, I would love to be able to like understand how to do a proper miter cut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
while I'm building, but like instead I had to do trial and error myself because I didn't pay fucking attention.
I think
when
it's
I was
just
a
that we were
kid.
given the option. It's like when my dad was growing up, like he grew up on a Mennonite farm. Like you did everything yourself, and you were born to help the family out on the farm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
Very
you were
different
forced to
world.
learn all these things, and like it's helped him throughout the years, right? We didn't have to be forced into those things. So
Yeah.
if we have the option, well, no, I'm not. I go to school and learn all day. I'm not going to come home and like learn more stuff.
So Amanda, your dad, he freaking raised 3 daughters. Like, was
Yeah.
there any manly stuff that he would have loved to teach back that you
Did
guys
he
didn't
teach you
care
how to
about?
call a
Or
repairman?
like, how did
Um,
that work with you growing up?
You know, my parents could build a bookshelf, you know what I mean? But they were not ultra handy. Like if we needed
Yeah.
major stuff done, we would call my uncle or whatever. But my parents, they taught us certain things. I don't know how my dad survived having 3 daughters and a wife, but
Yeah,
my
right.
dad was more like you, Andy, where in his free time he wasn't going to build something. He was going to relax and have fun and watch a movie, play a
Sure.
video game.
Yeah.
We growing up, my dad, like the one splurge we ever had was my dad had a Nintendo, like an original Nintendo, and we would,
Right.
and it was all his games, but we would play it sometimes, and we would watch movies. And so my dad never like really like had these manly things that he passed down, because like he never really like worked on the car and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we would watch sports, and like my dad's been a diehard Seahawks fan forever, and
right.
he loved the Supersonics, and so we would watch basketball. And I was really into basketball when I was a kid in the 90s, and we would watch movies and stuff. So my dad would teach us all about movies and all that stuff. But like, yeah, my parents, like, there wasn't a lot of that teaching moment kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't have a lot of family together time when I was little. It wasn't until like I think high school, when money was better, that my parents had better shifts now, and so they both worked during the day because we could be home alone. And then my mom would have us cook with her, or we were expected to cook dinner on the days my mom worked because she would get home late. And so that was where I really started to learn how to cook, because like I was having to come up with a dinner based on what little ingredients we had. So I had to whip something together. I would say as far as cooking goes, my Aunt Sandy taught me a lot about cooking, because she would always cook and we'd go on vacation and I would cook with her the whole time. Whenever though the random times we'd like go camping, or whenever we would go to Ocean Shores every summer as kids, my dad would always talk about like he wanted to have a bonfire on the beach. That's what he wants, a bonfire on the beach.
Yeah.
And so we'd go out there and my dad would try to teach us all how to dig out the perfect trench for a bonfire.
I love
And
it.
you got to do all this. And I was interested, but my other sisters didn't give a shit. They would just complain because they were cold. So then my dad and I would build the bonfire and we would like keep it going and stuff. And my dad and I were the ones who would decorate outside for like every holiday.
Right.
And
sure.
so like my dad and I did a lot of that stuff, but like there wasn't a lot of the, you know, I was kind of the son. And so like there was never like
right.
there was never a hold the flashlight for me while I change my oil. There was never that.
Oh, 100%. That was my dad. My dad, so through our upbringing, we added onto our house multiple times. So they did like an entire like family room. They extended me and my sister's bedrooms out. We added a sunroom that housed their hot tub. And during all of this process, and all of this build, like I was there. I was there like pouring concrete with dad and, you know, putting up joists and putting up walls and, showing me electrical and that type of stuff. And I didn't comprehend a goddamn thing. Like still to this day, I have to like look it up real quick and make sure I know what I'm talking about or doing. But most of the time, Ash has already researched it before I even get there. Like she's the one that wants to like know every single thing about it before we start. And so a lot of the time she has most things in her head about how she's going to build something, what she needs to do. She's built lots of things with her dad, right? Back in the day? Or was it just the bed? Or did you guys do more stuff together?
Well, we built multiple beds.
Right.
We built a chest, like a hope chest.
Yep. See, so you did those carpentry things with your dad. But like if you were to build one yourself right now, you would be like, I don't know what to do.
I feel like I could do it. I just never have the right tools to do it.
We definitely don't like have a lot of options in our tool chest.
But
for
it's
that
definitely something
stuff.
I feel like I should know how to do because I have done it with my dad.
Yeah.
Honestly, my dad, the number one thing he probably taught me was how to manage my money.
Which is honestly a skill most parents do not teach to their children.
Yeah.
They
No.
tell them, don't spend all your money in one place or make sure you have enough just in case. But there's never like true money management techniques.
Yeah. And
that are
my parents
trained
were very
down.
frugal. I mean, growing up, we didn't have a lot of money. And then, my dad went to college. When I was like 6 or 7, he went back. And from then on, we started to, have a little bit more wealth, but he was still very like frugal with it. And so he always expected us still to pull our weight. Like when soon as
Sure.
we were 16, you get a job. As soon as you have a job, you're paying for your own car, your own insurance, your own cell phone. Like we're expected to, like I said, pull our weight. If we're going to have those expenses because they're conveniences to us,
Sure.
then we need to take care of them. So I feel like I learned a lot about like how to be responsible for myself.
Thank God.
Like I don't ask people for money. Like that is not a thing. Like you take care of yourself, you know?
You and I have never been people that ask for money.
It's that's hard.
Ever.
That's a hard
And I've
thing.
never mooched and I've never begged and I've never asked anybody like, can you please, I can't make my rent today. I can't pay my car payment. Like, dude, I'm a grown adult. Like that's my fucking job now. And like, but there was, before you and I met though, I did not have financial stability.
Yeah, I wouldn't say you learned the same skills.
I learned that credit cards get you
Are
fun
a girl's
things.
best friend.
And I went nuts on it way too early, paid the price way too early. But also, I'm glad I did then and not now. Because there's people that are in like shitload of credit card debt now and still haven't learned their lesson. But I lucked out because I had you. So I financially learned what I was supposed to do from my wife.
Honestly,
God.
for me, The only thing the things I learned from my parents were that a bill's due when it gets shut off. Like they don't. It was not. It was. There was no teaching. My parent. I don't know why, but like we didn't. Or maybe I just don't remember them. But like there was never like, hey, gather around, everybody. This is a teachable moment. Like it wasn't that, but it was like they did not ever teach us about budgeting or anything, and it was like quite literally like when something got shut off, it was like, oh yeah, I gotta pay that. And like my parents, even now, my parents
That's crazy.
like have no schedule. They don't want to do automatic payments. They don't want to do any of that stuff. And then the only conversation we ever had about credit was don't get it. Like don't do it.
Well, at least that's a good lesson.
It's a trap.
But it's a good lesson as in like don't do it. But at the same time, in our society now, you have to have credit.
Yeah, honestly, it's the same thing as like
that's fair.
Not allowing your young kids to like do things because you're afraid they're going to get hurt when it's like
sure
they need to learn how to do dangerous things carefully. Like learn how to use credit but use it in a smart way.
Right.
When we never were given the idea of like, hey, you made $10, maybe spend $5 and save $5. Like
sure.
There was never any lessons on that or,
yeah.
You know, and so that's what I just started recently trying to teach Lincoln about like saving and stuff. Cause like he doesn't have to save his money, but like I would like him to at least learn something about money. Cause it's like, I'm not teaching him shit. So yeah.
My dad would do that. Like if we earned money, like from chores or whatever, like he would hold on to that money and then we'd have to go through him to spend it. So it made it like a little bit harder, like an extra step for us to like use our funds.
Interesting. He was like your bank.
He was our bank. He was the bank of dad. And so it really taught me, at least, I don't know about my other siblings, but like that you save your money and it wasn't just like a convenient, like,
sure,
you know, thing to just throw cash out.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
No, we didn't. It's tough because my mom's still very old school. Like the checkbook is like the number one way she likes to pay stuff. Not a huge fan of online. Now she has transitioned.
Your mom
more.
still uses checks?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Whoa.
absolutely.
I'm surprised she's found places that still take them.
Right? You know, and the whole like auto pay thing has been a really I think hard thing to like accept that somebody can just take your money without your permission. I mean, it is your permission, but you know what I mean? Like, and so they were definitely uneasy for that too. And I don't really know if my mom and dad were on the same page with finances. I think my dad was the one originally that was like, let's just spend whatever. And then my mom was the one that was kind of like trying to figure the bills out. But then now at one point things changed. My mom's just like, screw it, I'm going to the casino. Like, so like, you know, that whole finance thing has always been really tough just because when you have money and you don't know how to be like responsible with it. And I don't even mean like they're not irresponsible, but they're not frugal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, that
was things I didn't learn at all.
I wish I could be that person that like has a savings and all this stuff and all this money packed away, but I do not. Like, and you know, also like part of that is my own issues with my, you know, just kind of what job I have and all that stuff. But aside, I've never had like savings. Like I've never.
Sure.
So for me, like it's easier just to tell myself constantly, like, you don't have any money.
Sure.
You don't have any money. Because if I don't have any money, I don't have any money to spend.
Right.
And like, I just tell myself like, whatever, like, let's say there's $1,000 in my bank account. That's zero. Like,
right.
You know, you need to have at least $1,000 in your bank account. That is zero. Like,
that's not a bad way to do it either. I think just to like, I know for Ash and I, it's very much like rainy day fund. So like the times that we need it, we're happy that there's something there. But, you know, I mean, there's the struggles are there, man. Like when you have money, and Ash and I have talked about this a lot. I spend it 3 different ways. So I'm like, oh, I have $100 that I could blow and it doesn't matter. And then I'm like, that means I could get a video game, or I could go buy a new controller, or I could go buy this delicious food.
No, it's not ors, it's ands.
No, ands. And then Ash is like, wait, you spent $300. I'm like, yeah, I had $100. She's like, it doesn't work that way, bro.
Or it'd be like, I got this cash, I can throw it in her bank account, and then he's already thinking of how he's gonna spend it.
Yeah, she's like, you said it was going to the bank account, and I'm like, yeah, but I have it. So
yeah, transition away from finances a little bit. I have to say that my mom, on the other hand, I feel like what I've learned from her, the most valuable thing, is Andy can speak to this too. Like my mom thinks the best of everybody.
Oh, 100%.
And I feel like I can say that's the one thing that I learned from her is how to give everybody the benefit of the doubt.
God, I wish I had that feeling.
I wish you did too.
I'm very much like, you're probably an evil piece of shit, and I've never met you.
I mean, I think the worst of myself, but like I think the best of everybody
you did.
else.
Yeah, your parents didn't teach you good self-esteem.
My dad taught me how to think the worst of myself. My mom taught me how to think the best of everybody else.
Yeah, right. So meanwhile, you're the one that gets screwed here. No, that's one thing is like, my parents were always cautious. They were just cautious of people and things, and it's their upbringing and, all of that type of stuff. Just kind of like, there's some evil people in this world and they'd rather be safe than sorry. But that kind of made me who I am now, is I don't trust easy right away. And I kind of just I just imagine everyone's kind of out to get you. What catastrophizing? We talked about this. And so, yeah, those life lessons socially would have been really nice to maybe get a little bit more balance there, but that's been hard. That's definitely been hard.
Yeah, I think like for me with my parents, like I think for me it was more of the like having to work hard to be who I am as a human being, like because with there being 3 of us, like, and then I don't know, like I don't remember a lot of my parents' interactions with people. Like I know my dad was that guy where like if he was at McDonald's and he was missing a fry, he would like march in there and yell at people. And even as a kid,
so funny.
Even as a kid, I was always like, first of all, they're just French fries, but like also it's not that big of a deal. And I think I've always been that person that like, yeah, I do have feelings and I do get anxious and stuff like that. But when there's something crazy happening around me, I'm never the person joining in screaming. I'm the person like stepping back and being like, okay, like it's not that big of a deal. Like, let's handle it.
Because I think how to like diffusing the situation.
Yeah. And I feel like because my family, there was always some drama or something, blah, 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 and my mom's a pot stirrer. So there's always something happening. And I think for me, like I learned like how to diffuse the situation, but also like I'm not going to make it worse.
Right.
Like,
sure.
Like, something crazy is happening right now, but me freaking out isn't going to solve the problem. I need to be the one to solve the problem.
Yeah.
And so that's always how I've kind of like lived my life moving forward. And because I was always the one trying to fix everything when we were kids.
I know for my parents, they're polar opposites when it comes to social situations like that. My dad's the one that will bring up things that upset him. Why my mom's like, honey, just let it go. Just don't worry. Just let it go. And he's like, no, we're going to take care of this right now. And she's like, embarrassed, right? She's like, no, it's a fry. It's okay. Like, we'll just let it go. But my dad was the one that wouldn't let that type of stuff go. Like he would always go there. But I think I definitely learned that from my mom. That's why I'm nice and patient with like servers and like drive through and like that type of stuff. I'm like, dude, they got shitty lives as it is, right? They're frustrated. I don't need to exacerbate it. Mistakes happen. So that I feel like that was nice. It made me have empathy and it made me kind of be more of like a nurturing's not the right word, but like I don't want to exacerbate a situation either. So I won't be the first person to fashion. I have a mistake or something. Like I'm not just going to like jump up and take care of it. If we can just let it go, but she absolutely will not. Like Ash won't bring it up at all.
Nope.
At all. So
Well, and I think I decided I decided a long time ago after, watching my parents bitch out. Like my mom would absolutely like flip out on people if something was wrong. And I decided a long time ago, like I was never going to be that person. I was never going to be someone who ruined somebody else's day, ever.
I agree.
And like we've had situations where somebody's upset or even, retail, like something isn't working and it's like they apologize profusely and I'm just like, it's cool. Like it's fine. Like would I like to be out of here sooner? Yes, of course I would. But I'm not going to freak out about it.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
Because I've always thought, like, what good is that going to do for me? And it's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm definitely the kind of person where, like, if I find a hair in my food, I pull that hair out and keep eating. Like, I'm not gonna ruin anybody's day because I didn't get the perfect situation.
It's funny that you say that because though you might not say anything to the people, you won't go back there again. You'll finish it, but then you'll be like, nope, found a hair in my food. Nope, not going to Jimmy John's again. I didn't like that. Nope, not going to Jack in the Box. There, it was too salty one time. Like you definitely you don't give second chances for that type of stuff.
That's the way to me where like I'm not gonna fault like the waitress or like whoever is the customer service person for ruining my experience. But if I don't think that business is run well, then I won't frequent there.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah, I think that's
give them
fair.
your money.
That's the best way of speaking up, I think.
Yeah.
Is to be like, you're losing my business. Not for me to like ruin your day because some bitch yelled at you over a hair in her food. Like,
well, I will so this has happened to us.
And I wouldn't avoid a place for getting a hair in my food, by the way.
Well, sure.
You lose 100 hairs a day. Come on.
Sure. That's nice of you. Most people would. Most people would be like, hair in my food, I'm out. But a situation we've had. Oh, sorry, Amanda.
No,
Go
you're
ahead.
fine. I have so much hair on me at all times from my job that I don't even question
You don't know
it anymore.
if it's yours.
Nope.
You just expect it.
I just like, I mean, there's constantly a hair in my mouth or whatever. And I'm just like, well, whatever, moving on. Like, I don't care.
There it is. No, this has happened to us recently, right? So we're here with the kids. Our kids are 2 and they're 5. So they're absolute chaos. If food isn't on the way, they're going to get distracted and they're going to be frustrated because they've got something, they don't have anything to do. So when we have a mistake, okay, they didn't bring the food or they didn't place our order. This has happened to us a couple different times. But really, they come out and they're like, hey, listen, I'm so sorry. We did not get your order on the ticket. We're going to do it right away. And I'll look at them and I'll be like, listen, I appreciate that, but we're going to go. And they're like, no, sir, you don't have to do that. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. My kids already waited 25 minutes. They don't have another 15 minutes in them. Like, if the food can just come out, we'll take it to go, or just don't even push the order through. We're just going to leave. And that makes them feel even worse because I'm calm, I'm patient, but I'm just like, we have to go, sir. I don't have a choice here. My kids are going to destroy your restaurant if I don't leave soon. So
it's what do you want? Do you want me to just go, or do you want my kids to ruin everyone else's experience?
Sure. And I just found myself like that calming is going to get them more than any anger or frustration because they just feel bad now, Yeah. So, that part's crazy.
Well, and mistakes happen, right? That's life.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just like, oh, we forgot. All right, well, you know what? I'm just gonna go then. Like,
yeah, I want to say I learned that from my mom because my dad would not. There's no way.
I would have to say that I learned that from you.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't even occur to me, like, how to talk to service people a certain way. It was like I just talked to them instead of, like, being, like, kind to them.
Sure.
Like a cashier, like, you ask them how they're doing. Like, you say, have a nice day when you leave. And, like, you give them that same respect, like, because they're helping you out.
Yeah.
I definitely learned that from you. And I actually feel like I passed that on to my mom.
Oh.
Because we were eating out one time and she was ordering her food. And she didn't even glance up at the waiter the entire time she was ordering. Like, the entire time the waiter was at our table, she didn't even look up at them. And so I made it a point to tell her, I'm like, you can at least, like, make eye contact or smile or something. And so she told me later, like, she put that to use because she never realized that she did it.
Which is crazy because that server's like, geez, no respect. I get it. I'm just a
Right.
server, but
But
come
how many
on.
other things do our parents do without even thinking that like we learn from them without even thinking?
Well, I hope that your scenario is that we can teach back good habits to them. Because, I mean, obviously they taught us enough to get through life.
Right.
And we're not dead in a ditch somewhere. So we
Right.
made some good decisions.
But also like every parent does the best they know how,
Yeah.
but they might not know the best.
You're 100% right.
Oh, yeah.
I do. You brought something up, which I think this is kind of a really interesting thing. We talked about like what we've learned socially and like from our parents when it came to like work ethic or skill sets. But I said I've learned financial like stability from you, and I'm still not great at it, but I'm better. Is there anything aside from what you just talked about for the niceness that I was able to teach you that you take back? Anything that you're like, thank God. Well, that's nice. Or are you just kind of like, nope, I knew everything.
I mean, I gave you my one example.
Ouch. Okay.
I mean, on the spot, I don't really know. Like, I would say that though, like how to talk to people. I have a really hard time talking to people and like recognizing my tone. So I think that honestly, like, even though you want me to give a different example, like that's the best one I got.
Sure.
Like,
I think
learning
you did.
how to talk to people.
When we first got together, your tone was very brash and it didn't mean to be, but I think you've lightened it.
I feel like
Definitely.
10 years ago, I would have said that I'm like, I'm just a bitch. Like, and everybody knows it. Like,
yeah.
Like if people talk about me from high school, they probably just thought I was a bitch.
Which sucks.
But
too.
now I can honestly say that I'm a kind person.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. What about you, Amanda? I know you and Chris, you guys haven't been together that long, but is there anything that he's taught you or you've taught him that you think you guys have learned from each other?
I think, for as far as things I've learned from him, I think he's very much the kind of person where he'll think about like what's going to be good right now, but what's also going to be good like in the future. So
Sure.
like where I'm the kind of person that like if I want to buy something, I'll buy like the slightly cheaper one because I'm like, well, it's kind of cheap right now. Like I'll just do it. But he thinks at a place of like, yeah, but if I invest a little bit more money, the item might last me a lot longer.
Sure.
And I definitely think of a place from not having money, and he thinks from a place of being more comfortable.
yeah.
So like, but I can definitely get it, like the idea.
Yeah.
Of like
And-
making an investment instead of just buying.
Well, instead of, let's just say, for instance, right? You buy $100 pair of shoes, and bet they last you a full year, versus you have to buy $30 shoes every other month, and it's like, that's cheaper right now,
Yeah.
but it's not cheaper in the long run, and
Yeah.
so that's kind of where I've had to be. But I think he's one thing that I have taught a lot of people around me is like the whole like being kind to service people thing. And
oh, sure. Right.
like sometimes I'll go somewhere with someone like Chris or anybody, and the cashier or whatever is like, oh, hi, how you doing? And like I don't need to have a full conversation. Like, we're not best friends.
Sure.
But I'm going to do the niceties of like, oh, good, how are you? And then
the pleasantries are there.
Yeah. I might just kind of like chit chat or make a comment about something. And, it's like the same thing goes back to like, I'm not going to be the shitty person you deal with today.
Sure.
Like
Exactly.
I will not. And
Yep.
so I think for me, it makes me feel good to be nice. And so I'm just going to be nice. I'm not being fake. I'm not being very like, I'm just like,
yeah. Right.
making a joke about something. We chit chat for 2 minutes, and I go on with my day, and I say, "Have a great day." Like,
Yeah.
whatever.
I feel like a lot of like cashiers and service people probably have their like butthole puckered.
Oh, they're
with
like,
every
yeah,
customer,
hopefully this person
like,
isn't a
how's this
jerk.
one gonna be? I feel
Yep.
like it's my obligation to let them know, like, I'm not you can relax a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not
Like,
the one you're gonna offend. Like,
I'm okay. I was literally at Walmart like 2 weeks ago, and I had found these shorts that I wanted to buy. And the black ones had no tag at all, but the blue ones in the same size had a price tag. They were the same shorts. And so I brought them both with me, and I just said, hey, this one doesn't have a tag, this one does. Is it possible that, like, we can figure out the tag for the black one? And I said, you know, I understand if it's an inventory thing, you know, no big deal. And she was like, well, I might have to get a manager over to, like, help us figure this out. And I was like, that's fine. Like, whatever. Like, you know, and then she was like, we might not be able to sell them. And, like, it was like she was preparing herself for me to be like,
please don't yell at me. Please don't yell at me.
Yes,
Right.
she was preparing herself. And I literally was like, it's no big deal. If we can't, I was like, they're $4 shorts. My life will go on if I can't.
Right.
And
sure.
so I think she felt comfortable knowing that either way, whatever. And and I think it's stuff like that like I'll go with people to the store, even like the coffee lady at the coffee stand, and we'll chit chat, and they'll be like, the person I'm with will be like, did you know her? Did you know them? And I'm like, no. Like,
right.
No.
Yeah. They're just like, why are you being nice? You're like, because you should.
Yeah.
Because what does it hurt?
Because it costs me nothing to be pleasant.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, that being said, like, random person in the parking lot, don't look at me. Like, the minute
No eye contact at
don't
all.
fucking talk to me, don't look at me. But
I
then,
mean,
you know,
my dad was the kind of person where, like, he doesn't even say goodbye before he hangs up the phone.
Yeah,
He definitely did
that's
not teach me
strange.
these niceties.
Yes.
no.
My boss is like that, dude. I'll be like, okay, so that sounds good. He's like, yep, it does. Click. And I'm like, what?
He's like, oh, this
Correct.
is done.
Are we
Conversation was done.
conversation's over, huh? And he had a flip phone for the longest time, so you could hear the flip. Like you could hear that, you know, like he's swinging that shit as fast as he can to try to shut it. But yeah,
my
I don't
God.
know. I mean, like my mom gave me the compassion. My dad gave me the sense of humor. Like, you know, my mom was artistic. My dad had like the music skills. And so like I learned all of that stuff, but like, I don't know. There's some shit I should have like
Avoided?
I mean, that happens with everybody, but there's also some shit I should have sponged up. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some stuff, dude, like it's ridiculous. Like I'm really upset that I can't just build anything because I had all the tools there. And I think my sister's the same way. Like she's like, yeah, but I didn't listen. I didn't listen at all, and we should have. But I think we've done okay for ourselves. We figured it out now. You and I have built lots of stuff. We just installed a dishwasher. I mean, come on.
That's hard.
We're golden, dude.
We
I mean,
had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, we're hooking up like electricity.
It's
We're
easy.
you know we're
It's
wiring.
two tubes and a plug.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like yeah,
okay.
We thought it was easy, and then
Well, okay, in my opinion, a dishwasher, installing a dishwasher, like when you break it down, it's a couple tubes and a plug. It's easy. But it's the getting your body into the funny angle to like
Yes.
go under the dishwasher, under the sink to get it.
yeah,
And then you have to like magically be able to turn your body into an L. And then at the same time, like the cords aren't long enough for their like
we just dealt with all of it.
yes, it's
It
miserable.
sucked.
Like
And then my
changing
arm
out-
wasn't long enough.
Yeah.
Yes. It
My
was literally
arm's
like-
too big, so Ash had to plug it in.
Yes, I remember we were doing ours. We had to replace ours at the old house, and like we like because I had to do it. I'm wedging my ass under the dishwasher, but it's like the cords aren't long enough to give
Yep.
me enough space. So I'm literally like half in there with the dishwasher, and I'm like, this is uncomfortable.
I'm
Yeah.
literally like, I can't even see the outlet. I close my eyes and I'm like
Yes.
feeling it like braille.
Yeah, she
Yes.
was feeling
I'm
the
like, all right,
prongs.
if I can just get the ground plug in there,
Yeah.
I can
Right?
maneuver the prong.
Because literally you take it out of the box, and you're like, oh. It's only a couple things and then a plug. Like
Yeah.
this is so easy.
Stick it in the
and
hole,
then
plug it in.
And then somebody up above is like, it's awful.
Oh, this doesn't come with a plug?
Oh yeah, there's some
Oh.
shit when it comes to
Oh,
that. But
yeah.
dude, they don't teach you that stuff.
No.
Like your parents aren't like, hey, let's install this dishwasher
I will
together.
I will say though, I have changed my own tire
Yes.
because Andy wouldn't answer his phone.
I was not available at the time. You're right. But you did good. I was
I've
really
done
proud
it.
of you.
I've done it.
Good
I
for
learned
you.
Very
that.
proud of you.
I learned that.
Yes.
Thanks, Dad.
Yes.
I did have to call my dad, but it got done.
Yes, you're right. I don't remember. Was I working or I was probably buying video games? Well, this has been a fun trip down memory lane. All of our trauma comes back.
Yeah, that's the one thing I got from my parents. Trauma.
Yeah, trauma. I think our whole generation got
Never
that.
gonna be good enough.
Oh yeah. That's what I think my parents gave me. A therapist bill.
So I do have to say then, to our listeners, what is something that you learned from your parents that was awesome and
Good
something,
or bad.
yeah, good or bad, or something you learned or something that they taught you and you were just like flippant. You're just like, I don't know, that's not a big deal. Brrr, like, you know what I mean? Like, like how many times, dude, my cousins grew up in Oregon. You didn't have to pump your own gas. So
Oh,
they got their
right.
driver's license. They're riding around Washington. They're like, Andy, do you mind coming down to the gas station to pump our gas? And I'm like, you put the credit card in, click your shit, put your thing in the hole, and squeeze the trigger. It's not that hard. But like, if you haven't done it before, you're just like, I have no idea. I have no idea how to do this. Like, and I find that stuff to be crazy. So,
It's like me and having a conversation with someone I don't know.
oh yeah, that will not
You're
happen.
like, you just do it.
and I'm like, just
You
call
just
them
go-
up. And you're like, I can't do it.
No,
I
no.
won't do it.
No.
Yep. It's crazy. Amanda, where can people come tell us their traumatic learning experiences?
Listen, here's the deal. You can check out our Instagram at Real Awkward Podcast. You can send us whatever messages you want, but don't send me messages about how fucked up your childhood was because I can't deal with that.
You know what? Send them to me. I'll read them.
Ash,
I won't respond, but I'll like them.
You left it unread.
My life
I'll
was so
pretend I
terrible.
didn't see it, but I really did read it in the little
Yeah.
caption up at the top of my
As
phone.
Amanda says, get fucked.
Seriously.
Well, awesome. All right, cool. Well, guys, we'll talk to you later on the next episode of the Real Awkward Podcast.
Bye-bye.
Bye.